Stop waiting for someone to hand you strength. Stop waiting for life to get easier, for the right person to appear, for circumstances to align perfectly before you decide to take control. That illusion that someone or something will come along to rescue you is what keeps most people weak. The truth is, no one is coming. No one is going to wake you up one morning, hand you a better mindset, and give you a stronger soul. That's your responsibility. And the moment you accept that truth, you begin to build something indestructible within yourself. Because strength doesn't arrive like a gift. It's forged in the quiet moments when no one's watching, when you're tired, frustrated, and unsure of where to go next. But you keep moving anyway. It's built through every decision you make to face what's uncomfortable instead of running from it. You can read every book, listen to every motivational speech, and still stay weak if you never act on what you know. Strength begins the moment you stop depending on someone else to change your life. Most people waste years waiting for a savior, waiting for approval, waiting for motivation, waiting for permission. But every time you wait, you're giving away power. You're saying, my future depends on something outside of me. And that belief keeps you small. The strong realize that waiting is a trap. They act before they feel ready. They take ownership of their lives, and they carry themselves like no one's coming to help, because that's the truth. Once you embrace that, you begin to operate differently. You stop expecting people to understand your journey. You stop complaining about who didn't support you. You start using that energy to build something real, a version of yourself that can handle life on your own terms. You have to understand, strength is not given, it's earned through confrontation with reality. Life will test you, not because it's cruel, but because it's trying to prepare you. Every setback, every betrayal, every hardship is an invitation to become stronger. The problem is, most people reject those invitations. They want the lesson without the pain, the progress without the struggle. But it doesn't work that way. Strength only grows in the soil of responsibility. When you stop blaming the world, stop blaming your parents, your past, or your situation, you finally open the door to power. You become strong when you look at your own reflection and say, it's on me. It's on me to fix this. It's on me to get better. It's on me to stop making excuses. And that's when transformation begins, not when someone else saves you, but when you realize you were capable all along. That realization is terrifying at first, because it leaves no one else to blame. But it's also liberating, because once you understand that you are responsible, you also understand that you are in control. There will be moments when it feels like you can't keep going, when you feel invisible, unsupported, unseen. But those moments are sacred. That's where your inner strength is built, in silence, in solitude, in self-reliance. Every time you choose not to quit, every time you take one more step when it feels impossible, you're building something inside that no one can take from you. You don't need external validation to prove your worth. You don't need someone to recognize your potential before you start living it. The strongest people didn't wait for the world to believe in them. They believed first, and that belief turned into action, and that action turned into strength. You have that same power within you, but it begins with one decision to stop waiting and start becoming. So stop sitting around waiting for strength to arrive. Stand up, face your life as it is, and decide that you will be the one who carries yourself forward. Strength is not something you find. It's something you build one decision, one action, one day at a time. And when you finally stop waiting for external strength, you'll discover something greater, the power that's been inside you all along. Pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. But most people spend their entire lives trying to escape it. They run from it, numb it, hide behind distractions, and tell themselves they're fine when they're breaking inside. But here's the truth, every time you avoid your pain, you also avoid your growth. Every time you turn away from what hurts, you turn away from the part of yourself that's trying to evolve. The pain you feel isn't there to destroy you. It's there to wake you up, to force you to look at the parts of your life that need to change. The problem is that society has convinced you that happiness should be constant, that pain means something is wrong with you. But that's a lie. Pain is a signal. It's life's way of saying, something here needs your attention. And if you have the courage to face it instead of escaping it, you'll find wisdom hidden inside the very thing you fear. Growth never happens in comfort. It happens in the moments when your heart aches, when your plans fall apart, when you realize that what you wanted isn't what you needed. Avoiding pain only keeps you stuck. You can drown it in noise, you can cover it with fake smiles, you can keep yourself busy so you don't have to feel it, but it will always come back, louder, stronger, more demanding. Because pain that isn't faced becomes a shadow that follows you. It leaks into your relationships, your decisions, and your sense of self-worth. You cannot outrun something that lives inside you. The only way out is through. When you finally decide to face your pain, something shifts. You stop being a victim of your story and start becoming the author of it. You begin to understand that the suffering wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The heartbreak taught you empathy, the failure taught you humility, the loneliness taught you self-respect. Every piece of pain carries a lesson meant to shape you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone more grounded in reality. But you only discover that when you stop running from what hurts, and yes, it will be uncomfortable. It will feel like your chest is cracking open, like everything you thought you knew about yourself is collapsing. But that's what healing feels like. It's not pretty, it's not comfortable, and it's not instant, but it's real. It's raw and it's worth it, because when you sit with your pain instead of escaping it, you begin to reclaim your power. You realize you can endure more than you thought. You start to build resilience, not from pretending everything is fine, but from walking through the fire and coming out stronger on the other side. Pain reveals who you are beneath the surface. When life strips away your comfort, your excuses, your distractions, what's left is your core. And that's where strength is born. You begin to see that facing your pain doesn't make you weak, it makes you unstoppable. Because once you've faced what terrifies you the most, the world loses its power to control you. Most people never find out what they're capable of because they never face themselves fully. They stay trapped in cycles of avoidance, afraid of feeling too much. But the truth is, pain isn't the problem, fear is. Fear of what you might uncover, fear of who you might lose, fear of who you might become if you let go. But when you face it all, when you stop running and look it in the eyes, you realize something incredible. You survived. You're still here, and that means you're stronger than the pain ever was. So stop numbing your wounds and start learning from them. Sit with your pain, listen to it, understand it, because it's guiding you toward your next level of strength. Don't escape it. Embrace it. Walk through it with courage, and when you come out on the other side, you'll realize that pain was never your enemy. It was the path, the one that led you back to yourself. Discipline is not about punishment, it's about freedom. The kind of freedom that only comes when you're no longer ruled by your emotions, your impulses, or your excuses. People talk a lot about motivation, about waiting for that spark to feel inspired. But that spark never lasts. Motivation is fleeting. It burns bright and then disappears. Discipline, on the other hand, is the steady flame that keeps burning even when you don't feel like it. It's what separates the people who talk about changing their lives from the ones who actually do it. Most people underestimate what discipline really means. It's not about being perfect or robotic. It's about showing up consistently, even when your mind screams for comfort. It's the decision to do what you said you'd do long after the excitement has faded. It's waking up early when your body wants to sleep. It's studying when your friends are out. It's training when no one's watching. Discipline is what turns potential into power. Without it, dreams stay dreams. You have to understand that strength is not built on bursts of effort. It's built on habits. Every disciplined action compounds over time. When you choose order over chaos, responsibility over distraction, focus over comfort, you're sculpting yourself into someone capable of carrying more, enduring more, becoming more. That's how character is formed. You can't buy it, you can't fake it, you earn it through the daily grind of doing what's right, not what's easy. There will be days when discipline feels like a burden, when you question why you're doing all this while everyone else seems to be enjoying their lives. But look deeper. The people who chase comfort rarely find peace. They live reactive lives, controlled by how they feel in each moment. But the disciplined person, the one who has learned to act beyond feeling, lives with purpose. Discipline gives you direction. It silences chaos. It builds stability where once there was confusion. And discipline doesn't just apply to work or fitness or study. It's a way of living. It's the discipline to control your thoughts before they spiral into negativity. The discipline to speak truthfully, even when lying would be easier. The discipline to say no to toxic people, to bad habits, to things that steal your energy. It's the art of mastering yourself, because if you can't rule your own mind and actions, the world will rule them for you. When you become disciplined, you start seeing results that others can't. You stop needing external validation because your sense of pride comes from your consistency. You start trusting yourself again because you know you'll follow through. That's what real confidence is, not arrogance, but self. Rust built on evidence. You've proven to yourself that you can do hard things. You've earned your own respect. But don't mistake discipline for rigidity. It's not about suffocating yourself under rules. It's about creating a structure that supports your highest potential. Think of it like a frame around a masterpiece. The frame doesn't limit the art, it enhances it. In the same way, discipline doesn't limit your freedom, it protects it. It allows you to build a life that's stable, meaningful, and self-directed. You won't always feel like doing the right thing, but that's precisely the point. The more you act independently of your emotions, the more control you gain over your life. Discipline transforms chaos into clarity, hesitation into progress, and weakness into strength. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it's powerful. It's the foundation upon which every great life is built. So stop waiting for motivation to carry you. Build habits that carry you instead. Train your mind to follow through regardless of how you feel. Because in the end, discipline is your greatest weapon, the one that will protect your dreams, forge your strength, and lead you to the life that only the disciplined ever reach. Everything begins in the mind. Every action, every failure, every success, all of it starts with a thought. The world you experience on the outside is a reflection of what's happening inside. You can't master your life, your goals, or your relationships until you learn to master your own mind. Because if your mind is chaotic, everything around you will be too. If your thoughts are filled with doubt, fear, and insecurity, then no amount of external achievement will ever bring peace. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who control others. They're the ones who have learned to control themselves. Most people live their entire lives as prisoners of their thoughts. They're controlled by impulses, fears, and emotions they don't understand. They react instead of responding, complain instead of acting, and blame instead of growing. But when you begin to master your mind, you realize that the chaos was never out there. It was within you. You stop trying to fix the world before fixing yourself. You stop trying to change people and start focusing on your own behavior, your own mindset, your own patterns. That's where real power begins. Mastering your mind doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending you're unaffected by pain. It means observing your thoughts without letting them control you. It's the ability to say, I feel fear, but I'll act anyway. I feel doubt, but I'll stay disciplined. I feel tired, but I'll keep moving. It's about learning to separate your emotions from your decisions. Because when emotions dictate your life, you're at their mercy. But when you lead with clarity and reason, you become unshakable. Your mind can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. It can build you up or destroy you quietly from the inside. And the difference lies in awareness, the ability to pay attention to what you feed it. Every thought you entertain, every belief you repeat, becomes the blueprint for your reality. If you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, you'll live in a world that reflects that belief. But if you train your mind to focus on what you can control, to see challenges as opportunities, to replace negativity with direction, your entire life begins to change. The truth is, the world will always be unpredictable. You can't control what other people do, what happens to you, or how life unfolds. But you can control your reaction. That's what separates the weak from the strong, the ability to stay composed when everything around you is falling apart. When you master your mind, you no longer need the world to be easy, because you've become harder to break. You carry peace into chaos, you carry focus into uncertainty, you carry strength where others crumble. And this mastery doesn't happen overnight. It's a lifelong discipline. It's catching yourself when your thoughts spiral into negativity. It's resisting the urge to complain when things go wrong. It's pausing before reacting, breathing before speaking, thinking before acting. It's a daily practice of reclaiming control over your internal world, because once your inner world is in order, your outer world follows. The great paradox is that most people try to conquer the world without first conquering themselves. They chase power, success, recognition, but they're slaves to their own minds. They have no patience, no focus, no peace. But the person who has mastered their mind doesn't need control over others. They've already won the only battle that truly matters. You become unstoppable when your emotions no longer dictate your direction, when you can stay centered in storms, and when your mind serves your purpose instead of sabotaging it. Because the truth is, you cannot master the world until you master yourself. And once you do, you'll realize the world was never against you. It was only reflecting the state of your mind all along. Strength isn't just about what you build, it's also about what you let go of. You can't become strong while clinging to the things that keep you weak. And deep down, you already know what those things are. They're the habits that drain your energy, the people who pull you down, the thoughts that whisper self, doubt every time you try to move forward. You can't rise while carrying dead weight. There comes a point when you have to look at your life and make a decision. Keep everything that weakens you and stay the same, or cut it out and finally grow into the person you were meant to be. It's not an easy choice. Cutting out what weakens you means facing the truth about what you've been tolerating. It means admitting that certain relationships aren't good for you anymore, that some habits are slowly destroying you, that parts of the person you've been can't go with you where you're going. That's painful, but it's necessary. Because strength isn't built in comfort, it's built through sacrifice. You can't evolve while staying attached to the things that belong to your past. Every time you hold on to something toxic, you tell yourself a story that it's not that bad, that you can handle it, that it'll change. But in reality, it's keeping you stuck. You can't climb if your hands are full of what you should have released long ago. The world around you can't get clearer until you clean the clutter within you. Cutting out what weakens you isn't about being ruthless, it's about being honest. It's looking at your life with clear eyes and asking, is this helping me grow, or is it holding me back? Sometimes what weakens you isn't even external. It's internal, your own mindset, your own patterns. Maybe it's the voice that keeps replaying old failures, the fear that stops you from taking risks, the tendency to seek validation instead of purpose. To be strong, you have to confront those parts of yourself too. You have to learn to silence the noise inside your own head that tells you you're not enough. You have to discipline your thoughts just as you discipline your body. Because if you don't, your mind will keep feeding you reasons to stay small. Letting go doesn't mean bitterness. It means peace. It's choosing to stop giving power to what doesn't serve you. Some people won't understand when you start cutting things out. They'll say you've changed, and they'll be right. You've changed because you had to. You've grown because staying the same was destroying you. Growth demands isolation sometime. It demands saying no, setting boundaries, walking away without explanation. That's not weakness, that's maturity. You'll notice something remarkable once you start removing what weakens you. Your energy returns. Your focus sharpens. Your sense of self strengthens. It's as if you've been carrying a heavy backpack for years and suddenly you drop it. You realize how much lighter life feels when you stop holding on to things that no longer belong. That's when you start to see your true strength, not in the things you've accumulated, but in the things you've released. The people who build strong lives aren't the ones who have everything. They're the ones who have learned to subtract, to remove distractions, excuses, and attachments that keep them from their purpose. Strength is clarity, and clarity comes from letting go. So take a hard look at what weakens you, the habits, the relationships, the thoughts, and have the courage to cut them out. Not because you hate them, but because you love yourself enough to grow beyond them. You cannot step into your strongest self while chained to your weakest habits. And when you finally release what holds you back, you'll realize something powerful. You never needed more to be strong. You just needed less of what was keeping you from becoming who you truly are. Life will test you, it will push you to your limits, break your plans, and challenge your beliefs. There will be moments when everything you thought was certain falls apart, and you'll feel like the ground beneath you has disappeared. In those moments, most people collapse. They panic, they run, they lose themselves in fear and doubt. But the ones who endure, the ones who rise, are the ones who learn to stand unshaken. Because real strength isn't about avoiding storms, it's about learning to remain steady within them. To stand unshaken doesn't mean you don't feel pain or fear. It means you've learned to carry those feelings without letting them control you. You've faced enough challenges, endured enough loss, and rebuilt yourself enough times that chaos no longer defines you. You become calm, not because life is easy, but because you trust your ability to face it. That calmness, that grounded presence, is what true strength looks like. It's not loud or arrogant, it's quiet, stable, unbreakable. When you reach that point, you stop reacting to every problem like it's the end of the world. You stop chasing people's approval or getting lost in temporary emotions. You understand that most of what disturbs you isn't the event itself, but your interpretation of it. And that's where power lies, in mastering your perception. When you can hold your ground in the middle of uncertainty, you start to see that the world doesn't need to change for you to have peace. You just need to anchor yourself so deeply that no storm can move you. Standing unshaken comes from experience, from having fallen apart before and realizing that you can rebuild. It comes from pain that once tore you open, but ended up teaching you resilience. Every hardship you've faced has been preparing you for this, to stand stronger, calmer, more certain of who you are. You've been through things you thought would destroy you, but they didn't. You're still here. That means you've already proven that you're stronger than you think. But to reach that kind of strength, you must stop identifying with your struggles. Too many people make their suffering their identity. They carry it like a badge, letting it define them. But standing unshaken means you no longer see yourself as a victim of life. You see yourself as a participant in it. You understand that pain is part of growth, that setbacks are part of progress. You stop asking, why me, and start asking, what is this teaching me? That shift in perspective changes everything. There will always be chaos in the world. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Circumstances will change. But when you've built strength from within, none of that can destroy you. You've created a foundation that's deeper than emotion, stronger than circumstance, and more enduring than any temporary setback. You become like a mountain, weathered by the storm, but never moved by it. You stop being tossed around by every wave, because you've learned to anchor yourself in truth, in discipline, in faith in your own ability to endure. To stand unshaken is to live with quiet power. It's to walk into uncertainty with your head held high, to speak with conviction even when your voice shakes, to move forward even when your path isn't clear. It's choosing composure when anger tempts you, choosing patience when fear rushes you, and choosing purpose when doubt clouds your vision. That's what strength truly is, the ability to remain yourself when the world tries to pull you apart. And the beauty of becoming unshaken is that it doesn't make life easier. It makes you greater than your difficulties. You stop needing life to be perfect because you've become powerful enough to handle it as it is. You carry a stillness inside that no chaos can touch. That's when you realize strength isn't about being invincible, it's about being immovable, so let the storms come. Let the world test you. Stand tall, stand calm, stand unshaken, and you'll discover that no force in the world is stronger than a person who has found peace within their own soul. Strength isn't something the world hands you. It's something you build, piece by piece, in silence, through pain, through discipline, and through courage. This entire journey is about becoming the kind of person who no longer breaks under pressure, who no longer waits for life to be fair, who no longer depends on others to create peace. You've learned that real power begins when you stop waiting for someone to save you and start saving yourself. It deepens when you face pain instead of running from it, when you practice discipline instead of chasing motivation, when you take command of your mind before trying to control the world around you. And it grows stronger when you have the courage to cut out what weakens you, the distractions, the doubts, the people and habits that drain your spirit. Every step you take away from weakness is a step closer to freedom. Strength is clarity. It's knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you will no longer tolerate. It's walking alone if you must, not because you enjoy isolation, but because you refuse to betray your growth for comfort. In the end, becoming strong is not about becoming cold or hard. It's about becoming grounded. It's about standing unshaken no matter what life throws your way. When you've built yourself from the inside out, the storms don't scare you anymore. They remind you of how far you've come. You stop fearing loss because you've realized that everything you truly need already exists within you. That's the essence of strength, to live with purpose, with composure, and with faith in your own resilience. So don't run from the struggle. Don't fear the weight of responsibility. Carry it, endure it, rise through it. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that every challenge, every hardship, every lonely night was shaping you into someone unbreakable. Someone who no longer bends to chaos, but walks through it with calm eyes and steady hands. Become that person, the one who stands unshaken. And when you do, you won't just survive life, you'll master it.